The man who moves a mountain begins by carrying away small stones. It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. Choose a job you love, and you will never have to work a day in your life. The superior man is modest in his speech but exceeds in his actions. Wherever you go, go with all your heart. The will to win, the desire to succeed, the urge to reach your full potential, these are the keys that will unlock the door to personal excellence. The more man meditates upon good thoughts, the better will be his world and the world at large. Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. He who learns but does not think is lost. He who thinks but does not learn is in great danger. Life is really simple, but we insist on making it complicated. The noble-minded are calm and steady, little people are forever full of anxiety. When anger rises, think of the consequences. The superior man acts before he speaks and afterwards speaks according to his actions. To be wronged is nothing unless you continue to remember it. It is not the failure of others to appreciate your abilities that should trouble you, but rather your failure to appreciate theirs. A man who does not think and plan long ahead will find trouble right at his door. To see what is right and not do it is the worst cowardice. The hardest thing of all is to find a black cat in a dark room, especially if there is no cat. Wheresoever you go, go with all your heart. He who conquers himself is the mightiest warrior. The cautious seldom err. By 3 methods we may learn wisdom: first, by reflection, which is noblest; second, by imitation, which is easiest; and third, by experience, which is the bitterest. The strength of a nation derives from the integrity of the home. What the superior man seeks is in himself, what the small man seeks is in others. Silence is a true friend who never betrays. Education breeds confidence. Confidence breeds hope. Hope breeds peace. When we see men of a contrary character, we should turn inward and examine ourselves. Without feelings of respect, what is there to distinguish men from beasts? When it is obvious that the goals cannot be reached, don't adjust the goals, adjust the action steps. The superior man understands what is right, the inferior man understands what will sell. The essence of knowledge is, after having it, to apply it; not having it, to confess your ignorance. Everything has beauty, but not everyone sees it. The man who asks a question is a fool for a minute, the man who does not ask is a fool for life. When we see men of worth, we should think of equaling them. When we see men of a contrary character, we should turn inward and examine ourselves. Real knowledge is to know the extent of one's ignorance. If you make a mistake and do not correct it, this is called a mistake. Do not do to others what you would not like yourself. To be wealthy and honored in an unjust society is a disgrace. The wise take joy in water, the humane take joy in mountains. The wise are active, the humane are tranquil. The wise enjoy, the humane endure. I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. I do and I understand. To put the world in order, we must first put the nation in order. To put the nation in order, we must first put the family in order. To put the family in order, we must first cultivate our personal life. We must first set our hearts right. The expectations of life depend upon diligence. The mechanic that would perfect his work must first sharpen his tools. To be able to practice 5 things everywhere under heaven constitutes perfect virtue: gravity, generosity of soul, sincerity, earnestness, and kindness. The superior man is distressed by the limitations of his ability. He is not distressed by the fact that men do not recognize the ability that he has. To see what is right and not to do it is one of courage. Virtue is never left to stand alone. He who has it will have neighbors. The man who asks a question is a fool for a minute. The man who does not ask is a fool for life. He who wishes to secure the good of others has already secured his own. If you think in terms of a year, plant a seed. If in terms of 10 years, plant trees. If in terms of 100 years, teach the people. The faults of a superior person are like the sun and moon. They have their faults, and everyone sees them. They change and everyone looks up to them. When you know a thing, to hold that you know it, and when you do not know a thing, to allow that you do not know it, this is knowledge. A true gentleman is one who has set his heart upon the way. A fellow who is ashamed merely of shabby clothing or modest meals is not even worth conversing with. To go too far is as bad as to fall short. The firm, the enduring, the simple, and the modest are near to virtue. Ignorance is the night of the mind, but a night without moon and star. The superior man thinks always of virtue, the common man thinks of comfort. When you have faults, do not fear to abandon them. Learning without thought is labor lost, thought without learning is perilous. The man who says he can, and the man who says he can't are both correct. If you look into your own heart, and you find nothing wrong there, what is there to worry about? What is there to fear? A wise ruler is one who knows the people's hearts and minds. Respect yourself and others will respect you. To be able under all circumstances to practice 5 things constitutes perfect virtue. These 5 things are gravity, generosity of soul, sincerity, earnestness, and kindness. Wisdom, compassion, and courage are the 3 universally recognized moral qualities of men. The man of wisdom is never of 2 minds, the man of benevolence never worries, the man of courage is never afraid. The object of a superior man is truth. In a country well governed, poverty is something to be ashamed of. In a country badly governed, wealth is something to be ashamed of. A man who has committed a mistake and doesn't correct it is committing another mistake.